Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3, where today we have a little bit of a challenge in front of us. We're going to win this battle, right? We have the option of taking the auto-resolve victory here and only losing all of our good units. If I lightning strike this and then hit auto-resolve... Oh, actually that's interesting. You know, that was something we had not considered before. So, lightning strike. In addition to preventing reinforcements, it causes the units entering the battle to come in with reduced vigor, as it says here, basically a little bit tired already. But it also causes all of the enemy units in the battle to take a morale penalty, a leadership penalty, for the battle sort of happening upon them when they were not prepared. I didn't realize... Gee, I wonder if we should just take this, because... It says casualties medium. Like, this, I'm relatively sure I can outperform in battle, especially like the loss of many high-level ranged units. This one I'm less sure, and we're just losing melee. I think I might actually take this. Apologies for the like. I know I was acting like we were going to have a big manual battle here, but I actually think with the lightning strike on, we should maybe just eat this auto resolve. If I move the Banner of Eternal Flame, like, I don't know if that should actually be on those Mournguls. So it gives plus 8% base weapon damage. I wonder if it makes more sense to have it on one of the units of Depth Guard. Apparently if I do that, for some reason, we will lose a ranged unit. I don't know what the math is on the auto-resolver. You know what, let's just take this. That's medium casualties, huh? That's pretty savage. I will say it probably doesn't matter that much because, of course, we have a very high replenishment rate. I think I'm just going to take the ransom money, actually. Alright, so Dauntless. Ironessa, always personally involved in combat during battles, so she's racking up those personal combat stats. We killed a hero, we killed a lord, and their army in total is basically gone. So at this point, because we've dealt them such a crushing blow and they have no ability to resist us, we could just get a peace negotiation out of them. I think I'm going to take it. You pay me off, I'll give you peace, because our armies are needed elsewhere, right? Like, we gotta get back to the place where the real trouble is. Fine. Holds grudges. You can expect we will be seeing those people again. For right now, the raised Deadpool of this area is probably not terribly compelling. Are we going to... We're not going to be passing through an area with a good raised Deadpool. So I probably just want to do a normal movement here and then do some natural recruiting to fill in the space, instead of doing a sprint into a Regiments of Renown move, or a sprint into a raised dead. We don't want to spend actual time recruiting. We can pull... all Aranessa can pull for us is this stuff. I mean, we could just replace our lost melee with a couple units of animated Hulks. I don't think that this is as good, but they'll give us something. Pretty low armor. Gosh. What are we running toward? So this army, with a bunch of cannons and a bunch of handguns and a bunch of halberds, is like specially designed to fight large units. That would not be great for our animated Hulks. My faith in you wanes. Animated Hulks do pretty well against like random infantry. They hit hard, they pierce armor, and they have the advantage of just being really big. This army is very monstery. The other thing we could do is just let Aranessa's army be a couple hands short, and then when she gets down here, pull stuff from the raised dead pool. Yeah, maybe that's the play.
No straggling.
So let's get you in the sea then.
I've got your bearing.
This is all still friendly territory, so we're getting all of our replenishment. And then
of the fleet.
Pete is in kind of an awkward spot here. I can't quite reach King Thutmokris, but we could try to run down there. And this guy can reach anything he wants to reach. Right now, they're suffering really badly from all of the vampiric lands attrition. Like, it's really having an effect on them. I wonder if that means we need to jump them now, take advantage while we can. His army's pretty tired. They've been in march mode, so they'll start at fully tired. They can't run away. If we beat them in battle, the whole army will be obliterated. There'll be no survivors. I'm not too worried about King Sensenna taking Alhaik. He definitely could take Martek, though. But I think we need to just, like, break stuff up here. This army is largely skinks. They have a fair number of large, terrifying units, for which we have an awful lot of guns. You know what? I think we can do this. We can do this battle. And yeah, the balance of power bar in the top right there suggests so as well. Hi, Gorebirds. All right, wow, a decisive victory with low casualties. Interesting. We'll throw this banner on one of the units of Skaven. Magical attacks. The fact that their attacks are magical just means they evade physical resistance. It doesn't mean they automatically punch through armor or anything like that. That is a much better result than we deserve there. Wow. Because like this, we still would have taken some significant damage here. Okay, well, that was worth 2,300 gold. We can get another 1,640. Or we could just take our army goes back to full health almost. I'm actually going to take the assimilate here. Let's just use the parts from these people to patch up our wounded troops, because we're going to need to be in good shape for what is to come. We have managed to steal a thing that weakens flying units. Not really that interested in that.
About time.
Loyal to a fault.
Pete is leveling quickly, which is exactly what we need him to be doing. So we kind of have the most important magic stuff now. What do we want to do with our skill points next? We could, of course, learn more spells. Kraken's Paw is a damage spell that like stays in an area. It's just like a big swirling vortex of tentacles, and it's bad news. But a bunch of damage in an area is kind of a thing we already have covered. So what if we did something else? The hunger is just replenishment as long as you're in melee. The life stealing off the enemies. That seems important. And then we can make him cause terror in his enemies. We could give him one of these skills. Smuggler to make the army move faster. Poacher to improve his skill at fighting large units. I mean, that's not nothing. I kind of love Smuggler, though, right? The campaign movement range is so valuable.
No prey, no pay.
Okay, we're already in a position where Lord Mazdamundi can't reach us this turn. But I think I'm going to
You dead curs?
double back here. Oh, well, we're in unfriendly territory right now, aren't we?
I smell.
So we're not going to replenish if I don't go into encampment mode. All right, well, then I think I'm going to do that. I think we need to make sure we're healing. Did I ever spend... Nope, I didn't. All right, got to make sure we're grabbing these. Someday we'll get a Gunnery White leveled up.
Another victory.
We almost have enough money for that. When we push up to this, we gain 400 income, +1 capacity for vampire fleet captains. Yeah, maybe upgrading that port is the next most important thing. Oh, Riffraff has got to get repaired. Right, now that it's clear, we're actually going to be able to hold on to it. And actually, probably, you know what? We got to spend money on Miragliano. We have to get a proper garrison building going here. So much hostility. So much stuff we need to be ready for. Alright, yeah, I need to get this going too. Maybe this is more important. You know what? Let's hold off on this upgrade. Let's prioritize the income source, right? Right now, 56% of... I wish it would just show you what Marienburg's making. So they're upgrading to tier 5 on this right now. Their dock is currently generating 400. It'll go up to 800 at least when they can max it out. This building probably actually is maxed out. Yeah, this is definitely the right move.
Fleet.
And then while that's happening, you can go and do treasure maps and stuff. I definitely wanted to make sure I got that established first. Who else do we have out in the world? Wendy.
Reporting.
So Wendy sought out that first
Get going, Scott.
treasure already. Okay, the next one we just need to keep running north up this valley, and then it's not very much further north than that to get to Nagarond, where there might be another high-value port, maybe. It's hard to even guess. I don't think I'm going to bother spending money to upgrade anything around here, because I just don't trust that it'll still be around by the time it's finished. The buildings in Pyrus are all screwed up. That's probably fine to fix. But you know what? Maybe I don't even want to bother, as we're trying to save money for Miragliano's upgrades. When orcs ruin a building, they do this. Greenskins like to let the world know a place has been conquered in the strongest and stinkiest way possible, and so they just like really crash out the volume of your the value of your settlement. Okay, demolishing that is actually plus money for some reason. I don't know how we're gonna make money out of disposing of all that dung. I mean, I guess there are things it can be used for. But it's probably going to take Aranessa another, like, turn or two to make it down here. And obviously, even once that happens, we're being attacked from a lot of sides all at once. It is certainly not a foregone conclusion that we're going to be able to push everybody out. Oh, King Sensena is attacking Al-Haik. The way we're going to solve that is probably... I don't think he would win that siege battle, but he can camp outside of the settlement and wear down the troops through siege attrition. Probably it will take him long enough to do that, like to actually get them weakened enough that his army can take them. Will take long enough that Aranessa will be able to get there and reinforce. I hope. Actually, Aranessa may need to pull some just kind of crummy raised dead units, or at least may benefit from pulling some crummy raised dead units. Just because we're going to have to fight these orcs. Alright, raid Lashiek to get a bunch of extra money. Okay.
Yes,
I will probably do that.
I'll order it.
First things first.
Sartosa's most infamous.
We can't really pull any meaningful ranged. Do y'all have ranged? They kind of don't. So actually, against an army like this, a bloated corpse, the big exploding units, might actually be useful. Might actually do something. Just like pull in, and they're really cheap. I'd like to have another turn before
You
attacking.
might be right.
especially since he's just out of range of Sartosa. Yeah, we really need a little bit more time. This is very annoying. But if we don't do something now, he's going to ride up and make our lives miserable. Six units of boar cavalry, huh? It's pretty harsh.
They shall pay!
All right, let's make it happen. Valiant defeat? Oh, I don't know if I think that's how this would go. What if I hit lightning strike? No, it still stinks. We're going to lose. So they have a bunch of units with no armor, but 25% physical resistance. It's a lot of infantry. And, you know, traditionally, this is the kind of composition that has given us trouble in the past. How fast are these units? 41? All right. You know what? Maybe they're onto something there. I keep acting like just more guns is a solution to everything, but you know what? We have lost to some heavy infantry compositions. Maybe I need to take a turn in Sartosa.
I'm no mermaid.
And if I'm doing that, I might want to do some like proper recruitment. Sartosa has buildings, although nothing in Sartosa. Here we go, Pirates Current. What would I grab given a turn? I don't want to stay put for 2 turns. Does it make sense to grab Sartosan Free Company? Let's like cut these things from the roster in exchange for some specifically anti-infantry units. Turns out I just kind of like threw this money away. You know what? I am gonna do that. They're not as elite, but we may need a little something. So the garrison of the settlement can ride out and attack them. I don't think that's likely. Yeah, it's not likely to turn out well for us, unfortunately.
Get us out of here.
The reason that we would be able to hold up in this battle right now is because of the walls. And actually, looking at the fullness of his composition, I wonder if I'd even be able to do that. If we go into raiding mode just for a second here, it's going to cost us some portion of our movement.
There are plenty. Get going. Overland.
Let's go do our hero units. So what we need is for the game to check and see if we have done our see if we're working on our quests. And there are a couple of ways to force a check. A battle will force a check. A hero action being performed will usually force a check. We can get it to give us this
All ship shape.
this quest result. Your scout reports the ruins are exactly what they appear to be. There is no sign of life. That work? It didn't work. Darn. Alright. We might have to sit in raid mode for a full turn to get that quest result. And if so, I don't know that it's worth it because we have a lot of stuff to do.
Deck.
So let's see. You're headed... Okay, that's a great horde. Oh, that's not even a treasure map. That's a miserly horde. Okay, yes. You're headed for the middle of the magic forest.
I hunger for
Which means
blood.
we run down this way.
Off deck. Move.
The seas are my domain.
Alright. Do I want to just hang out kind of in Lashiek? If we end our turn inside the borders of what the game knows to be Lashiek, we will get this credit. The other thing we could do is we get down here and try to rescue Vulture Mountain. With the garrison army plus Pete Wakefield, there's no way that King Thutmokris survives, especially since this army doesn't have any siege gear. You know what? I'm going to creep forward in siege mode. Can we, like, get a position in the trees that's more hidden? Yes, the answer is yes. There are some positions where we have as high as a 70% ambush chance. Trying to find one of those. Where on earth did they go? Here we go. That's a 70. So we want to be as far forward as we can while still getting the 70.
Moving.
All right, from here we should be able to jump him. But mostly what I'd like is for him to not even realize that we're approaching. And then we're saving money for the moment. I'm not messing with our damaged buildings right now. Okay, let's see what happens here. It's really frustrating that we were forced into a moment of weakness right as this this Savage Orc faction started to get powerful. It'd be really cool if they had chosen to pounce on one of our enemies instead of pouncing on us. But they are, of course, going to go for sort of whoever is the most locally weak. Oh, he's going after it one turn before we were going to get there and rescue the settlement. Wow, we're not winning that battle. He's had time to build up siege units and stuff. Really, this doesn't work either, huh? Yeah, I mean, with three catapults, and he does have 6 units of Tomb Guard. All right, well,
And infamy.
I guess we lose everything to the Khemri because we had to run north and save our primary faction area. We're going to get all this back, of course. They can't defend this territory. But it's frustrating that we even had to turn around and allow this to happen. It's such a frustrating bummer. And it's not a big deal, but it is a mildly frustrating bummer. Let's put it that way. To get ganged up on like this. There's a lot of factions here who are, in theory, potentially enemies of each other, all just sort of like working together to stomp on me. And it feels bad.
Fight.
What are you doing? This faction is somewhat unlikely to actually take one of our settlements. I think they mostly just want to cause trouble. Alright, Pyrrhus has been burned to the ground. That's very whatever. Oh, Carcassonne was obliterated, so I guess this battle up here happened. How friendly are we with you?
Crawled out your grave for a good reason.
Okay, we have a non-aggression pact. We're trending very slightly positive with them. We might eventually be able to make friends. Alright, this is so many notifications. And most of them don't matter at all. Alright, we should probably stop and
Get to my hook.
take care of this. Now that our troops are healthy, our units are full-bodied, shouldn't be a problem. That's quite a lot of overall replenishment. Do I want to take that just so that we're ready? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to stress about the money too much. Found a Warrior Bane, a sword that reduces the damage of enemies within 35 yards of it. Vinny got high enough level to get his cool crab friend.
My ship.
Do we have any other troops hitting? Nope, not really hitting gold ranks yet. So while we're waiting for them to do that, we probably want to just go ahead and pick up some other skills. Let's pick up some more yellow line stuff for Aranessa. So we can push her attack even higher. We could give ourselves 15% raw HP. Bunch of bonus melee defense is not that exciting. Let's go for the bonus HP for right now. That's effective against every kind of incoming damage, whereas most of the other things we have access to are only conditionally effective.
The tides.
All right, I do think we got to keep moving.
Full sails. Navigating. Swordfish.
These are sadly contested waters, and we're not getting our replenishment here, which is annoying. Well, I think we should be able to take this. His army's all fucked up. His garrison barely exists.
Make them dead.
Let us make them dead. Oh, apparently we're being given a valiant defeat. Alright, well, let's build... I'm just going to siege them up here.
Avast and roar your blades.
We'll starve them for a turn and see how they like that. Mazdamundi's not quite fast enough to be able to interfere with this. But he's close. We do need to be wary.
Time to move.
Alright, is this close enough to count? Because the actual location that we're being given for the riddle is impassable.
Thin out the
Yes, this was close enough to count. So, we found an arcane item that lowers miscast base chance and allows you to dramatically increase it for your enemies. Is this a great hoard of treasure? 300 or 3,000 gold certainly makes it greater.
Advised.
Let's pop over to Pete.
Of course.
That Trickster Shard might actually be good on him. Right now, all we're doing is lowering the amount of winds of magic the enemy has access to. I would rather have a piece of equipment that does something positive for us, especially since the AI, in my opinion, not always so good at using magic. Alright, Len Amstrel is still out of the game for 2 more turns. And you are very nearly at this treasure notifier. I don't know what we're going to do with Lottie once she gets this. Maybe we bring her home and try to integrate her into Aranessa's army. Really could use a caster. And that's enough money to go for this. Do we want to upgrade Rafrafa? Probably not. Probably want to hold off on some stuff. Yeah. There are still things we need to buy. So it'll be a couple of turns before the Khemri could possibly get reinforcements back into position to help with the battle at Vulture Mountain. I think we're likely to get that back and to crush a pretty large enemy army in the process. They want us to go back to war with Karakern. No thank you. I would not enjoy that at all. Oh, interesting. Just rode out into the sea to attack me. Well, we don't have a choice here because our army was in full sail mode. This is not ideal. I'm not really ready to fight. Well, let's go for it. Do we want to move our banners at all? No, probably not. Alright, so with them having 3 units of catapults, we are obviously in position to endure a lot of long-range damage. They have 2 units of Greatbow Ushabti, also bad. We have all of the deck gunners, though, and that is a big deal. We have a lot better, range here, and they don't have almost any normal range of their own. They have 1 unit of horseback. Well, I guess the stalkers throw their spears, right? They have a very small amount of range stuff. They have 10 shots or something each. And then they have 1 unit of archers and 1 unit of horse archers. And of course, it's not going to show me where they're deploying, but I mean, there's really only one way they do this. I'm going to set up off-center here. In my experience, the AI really likes to just kind of do their thing right at the dead center of their deployment area. So we'll try to be in a position where we can fire at them. They will be pointed straight forward. So this will mean they don't get to respond right away. They're going to have to turn their units. Might not sound like a big deal, but with the speed at which siege units move. It's a big deal. I am a little worried. I think there's a pretty decent chance that we're going to lose this. Our melee units are not in good shape. We're going to be very reliant on our ranged, which has had, you know, as plans go. Oh, actually, I should have put Pete over here. Well, Pete, fucking get over here. All right, so what do we want to be raining fire down on? Do we want to try to kill catapults first? Do we want to blow up Tomb Guard? I kind of think trying to kill a bunch of their melee is probably the only chance we have to survive. Trading blows with the catapults is probably not a real plan. I'm going to move the deck gunners up just a little bit. With the man-eaters right next to them to either defend against a flank or to charge up if they start getting pressed. And as soon as all of this bonus accuracy and reload skill is in range of the Queen Bess's crew, we're hitting the button. Alright, also cannons and stuff. Pretty solid shot, I think. Interesting. Why are they behaving like this? They're basically just running to get out of range. Let's make sure all of these are in guard mode so they don't chase. If they want to drag this out, that's pretty much entirely to my benefit. So I guess I won't squawk. Let's try to make sure we get as much angle and coverage as possible here. Not fantastic shooting. In fact, really fucking poor shooting. My units are embarrassing themselves badly. So they're casting some damage spells that are just kind of annoying. Not much we can do about them, sadly. Okay, so their Screaming Skull catapults are doing their thing. Unfortunately, it is probably the case that those Screaming Skull catapults are much more accurate than my mortars because of the because of the nature of our units. There's a hidden accuracy stat on all ranged units, and our units have a particularly low hidden stat. I'm going to press their Ushabti a little bit, I think. Let's get the deck gunners up. I'm going to move you guys, like, not you. I'm going to kind of move forward, but also try to get out of the way of the guns. Yeah, every single one of those shots landed dead center on my units. That's fun. Yep, perfect. Perfect shooting 100% of the time. Ugh. All right, here we go. So we're going to net the Necropolis Knights and then just try to ride on their chariots. And you lot need to, I think, stop running. Form up so you have a line. And y'all are going to get over to here to play the defense. Those Great Ushabti are suffering already. The Man-Eaters can, I guess, just like run up and be in a slightly more aggressive position. The Gunner can probably do some okay damage to their Lord as he rides in. I'm hoping to wrap this up quickly. Oh, also, our cannons are coming off cooldown. We need to fire our cannons. Do I want to try to break their siege crews? Let's see if we can. Fire at the ones that are already wounded. Not so much as a waiver. They just don't care. Yet my units are getting shredded, and this is... These deck gunners are not doing anywhere near the amount of damage that I was hoping they were going to do. And we are suffering really badly here. Not even sure, like, what are we... Is this just fire? This is just fire from the Ushabti. Nothing else is close enough yet. Well, okay, I guess the Stalkers are getting close enough. The Stalkers will be doing meaningful damage sometime soon. Yeah, this is just... I didn't realize they could move this far out into the ocean. This is an embarrassing loss of a stack. Well, all of the rifles need to fucking hurry up and finish the job they were ordered to do, because it's about to get really, really bad. So we can sing our sea shanty here, get a little bit of reload skill, a little bit of melee defense. I need people to pull up, like, for real. Get the job done. We can't really do anything about this charge, sadly. This is good, though.
Banan's chosen! Attack!
Yeah, until the charge happens. And then things are going to get real bad as they get closer.
Faster! Boarding action!
Alright, well, we broke down their Necropolis Knights at least.
Moving! Ha!
And see, their leadership was going to hell, and then all of a sudden they are back to full function. Yeah, you get that. And the siege, the Screaming Skull catapults are tearing us apart. It is really, really harsh. Yeah, the deck gunners are gone, and this is us losing like a third gunnery white. Get some grenades into this fight.
Watch me see, father!
She's not going to be able to get much done, unfortunately. Yeah, that's rough. We were not ready to fight.
Gods, yes!
Let's see if we can kill their Necrosphinx. That would be helpful.
From salt.
Alright, the good news is we have some units that can kind of hold their own. We got to use the cannon fire to break up some of their actual melee troops, right? So let's start with this. Their lord's nearly dead. You stay on this Sphinx. Does this have any effect? It does lower melee defense significantly as well. So I'm actually going to throw it on the Sphinx. And hopefully she can just tear that thing up really fast.
Banan's fury!
Try to get as much value here as possible.
Back, you guys!
And then finally, we have a nice wide tier shape right here. Yeah, unfortunately, my units are going to surrender long before they could possibly have even lost the battle, which is really annoying. Because honestly, we could take a lot of their melee troops, just the two of us, but we will not be given the opportunity. Yeah, that's rough. So we're going to do the standard thing here. They're killing our big army during their turn, which means that we will immediately get a bunch of extra money because we won't have to pay for it at the start of our turn. So we're going to roll that money, obviously, into starting recruitment of a new force in Sartosa, which should pretty much eliminate the bleed north. Like, there's no way this Khemri army is going to be able to roll into any of the stuff on our main continent and actually do any damage. But this is annoying. We lost a lot of leveled up units here. We lost a lot of things that took time and money to recruit. We lost a gunnery wight who was just, again, coming into his prime. And all because I moved too far south. It just got us a little bit out of position. It is tough to deal with large numbers of infantry who just do not care about the guns. We need to probably, I mean, what we need is different units. We don't really have an army composition that's going to do well, our faction's units. We don't really have an army composition that's going to do well against a bunch of Tomb Guard. The Depth Guard will just kind of get slowly beaten to death. The problem with Depth Guard is they don't deal enough damage to be able to win a straight up fight. So you end up like just creating these really bogged down positions, and they don't have enough defense to survive protracted contact with good melee units, even with the healing from the hunger. You want to use them as enfolding strike troops. But we don't have anything that's really good at just standing and fighting. Units of Rotting Prometheans are
Salt and
close sometimes against certain types of, you know what? Sure. Actually, you want this more than I do. Pay me. All right, fine. But Prometheans are, due to being large, they are unfortunately very vulnerable to a lot of kinds of units that are that you use to pierce armor anyway. Like anything that's got great weapons or halberds is likely to get massive attack and damage bonuses versus the Rotting Prometheans, so it's kind of a tricky situation. Good news is Aranessa has just crazy HP now. She lost her crummy sword, that's fine. Another elf faction has been destroyed, that's very whatever. Upkeep down on many of our troops, also fine. So they're trying to get into a position here to threaten Vulture Mountain, but it's going to take them a while because they have to get around on us. So you can see their units are starting to suffer some attrition damage. We're gonna continue building siege gear. And I think we can keep the siege rolling for another turn or two. Yeah, ugh, this so many different things are combining to make life so difficult for us.
Reporting.
All right, I think we want to just keep heading
Get
this
going,
way.
scum. Captain, on deck.
Lottie can make it to here, and I bet this is close enough to find that treasure. This is a good turn to get a massive boost of income, actually.
Drown them.
Hell yeah. So we found some Armor of the Deep, which is pretty alright. Bunch of infamy for doing treasure stuff. 5,000 extra gold. And we are rapidly progressing up the infamy chart, even if we're maybe not having so much success in the long-term Empire expansion business. So, Arnessa will be available again in a few turns. We're just gonna pull somebody up here to do the recruiting while she's gone. Because we gotta get our next army started immediately. Are any of these going to give us a reduced rate of a reduced cost for any of our recruiting? I don't think so. Yeah, we know Smuggler doesn't. Okay. So we're just going to pick somebody who we think would be neat to have around eventually. And maybe we will actually benefit from that. Let's try... Yeah, let's try Vivian Butler.
Admirable of the fleet.
All right, Vivian, your job is to recruit lots of units. So I'm going to grab a bunch of Promethean gunners to serve as sort of like the core meat of this army. We're going to want some man-eaters too. How fast are the Promethean gunnery mobs? 45. So the man-eaters do run faster. Definitely get better flanks from these. So you can see 120 armor. They can fire while moving, and they have those hand cannons. You know what? Let's just make it 5 units. And then from the global pool, we can start pulling in the stuff that's ordinarily pretty cheap, because the global pool applies a percentage modifier to the cost of units. So units that are more expensive gain a lot more price. We'll just grab some gunnery mobs. We don't want to go too heavy on it now. 5 is probably fine, though. And also, let's get started on that new gunnery white immediately, shall we? Leadership and melee attack up for the entire army. Sure.
Gunnery white.
Get you basic training. Alright, Charlie Fenn will be able to do this. We'll probably have Charles dig for treasure for a turn just to get that. It's only going to be like 1,000 gold or something, but it'll be worth it. Okay, so what's up next? These recruit rank bonuses I'm not super excited about. We can try to pull in some infamous admirals if we want. What else do we have access to here? Raise dead costs down is certainly not nothing. Plus 20% weapon strength for your depth guard definitely makes them more interesting as combat units. Yeah. Ooh, 20% physical resistance for rotting Prometheans, and you can see that does include the gunnery mobs. This is probably a pretty good move. Yeah. As we are now getting into a place where we're going to actually be using those. So, Reich Admiral Hoff is going to attack Martek. Oof. We basically lost everything down here at this point. Aranessa going from the cavalry that was one turn from shore into just flat dead probably completely broke our hold on this area. We might be able to get Vulture Mountain back. We will not be able to hold it, probably. We have maybe like 2 more turns, like 1 or 2 more turns of siege before we need to actually take Vulture Mountain and start trying to rebuild out of it if we want to keep contesting this stuff. And I think continuing to contest down here is perfectly fine as a way to go toward winning the game. Like, we don't actually need to take over territory. We don't actually need to expand. We just need to do pirate stuff and continually battling, claiming ports, getting kicked out of places. You know, it's all adding to the infamy. We are living that pirate's life.
Time for battle. Time to feed.
And unfortunately, because this army, Reich Admiral Hoff's forces, because they are quest related, you know, our personal victory quest, there is no chance that they will declare war on anybody else or, you know, veer off and help us in any way. We're just going to have to deal with having one more thing on top of us that nobody will ever have to worry about. All right, I'll take a close victory. Let's just scoop this up. We're gonna occupy it. Pete Wakefield is getting a little bit of a reputation as well. Control and enemy leadership down in the province. Okay, bonus leadership and some infamy.
Admiral of the fleet.
And here in Vulture Mountain, we need to pursue some upgrades, and we need to pursue them pretty damn quick.
The seas are my domain.
So it would be a real shame to lose Pete right now if we don't have to. If you can get a character to at least level 20, they become effectively immortal. They become legendary. And Pete is so close. So we do need to be real smart now about how we are using him. I might, before I worry about getting any more magic stuff, I might want to grab some like replenishment rate and other blue line stuff. Really want to make sure we're getting maximum value out of this army.
Death. Journeying.
Okay, the Dark Elves are still in charge up here. When we saw the burned settlement, I was worried that maybe the Dark Elves were not going to turn out to be powerful, which means that they would have a lot less money for us to steal. But I don't know. It looks like maybe we're okay.
My faith in you wanes.
All right, they don't have anything interesting in that army for Len to kill, so let's just... Oof. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to do something about all that. Oh my god, this is taking forever.
Sea dog.
All right, so you're going to finish recruiting. What else is coming up here? Can we... 7 turns left before we can get another Queen's Cannon out. Well, what do we want next? I guess there's no sense in... Yeah, we'll let all this stuff finish, and then we'll see where we're at. Oof, this situation. So I think we are going to build that, or bring that... Well, should I? What I was going to say is we are going to bring that Vampire Fleet Admiral who's in the Marienburg area home, now that we got that treasure. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. Yep, nothing we can do about this, unfortunately.
Dead will fight.
But he's starting to get closer. I don't know how the game figured they were going to lose a catapult on that, but I'll take it. As they get closer to Pete Wakefield, there is more and more chance that we're going to be able to catch that army off guard and sort of break that momentum a little bit. But now that they have another full-size army coming up from the south, breaking the momentum of their northern push is a lot less valuable. Like, it's certainly not going to get us freedom in our land. Hell, we're going to be lucky if it gets us our land at all. We should have a decent amount of allegiance built up from the Skaven. As much as I don't think that the Storm Vermin is necessarily like a super powerful melee troop, it is still meaningful for us to be able to recruit those, and having some of those in the new army to offset the yep, stuff's getting attacked. The Great Warding teeters on its axis. Okay. Some kind of magic effects we don't care about. We could stay put for another 2 turns here and grab some interesting stuff. Mutant rat ogres. Interesting. Yeah, do I just want some heavy troops basically to I was going to say to complement our depth guard, but what I really mean is probably something more like to fully replace our depth guard. It's not like Storm Vermin are completely amazing or anything. Like their combat stats are actually pretty bad for how advanced they are as units. But they have that heavy armor, heavy infantry thing going in a way that our depth guard don't. There's a lot of health. There's 120 of them in an army. Yeah, gosh, it's kind of amazing how bad the Storm Vermin are at melee combat. Only 25 attack. Oof, maybe we don't want to bother with their units. Maybe stick to our own stuff. Let's grab. So we're probably sitting here for like 2 more turns. 1 more of these. Couple of those. That gets us to 14. One more gunnery mob, and then like, what makes sense after that? We still have 5 slots left over. Obviously, one of them is for the gunnery white. We can say one of them will be for that caster, who's probably just coming down from the north now. And that leaves us with 3 more spaces. What does this army need? And the answer is, I don't know. Oh, it's probably like mortars and stuff, right? Sadly, all of the buildings for those are on Aranessa's ship, so we can't really do too much about that right now. You know what? Let me get 1 more unit of man-eaters, and then we can throw in another gunnery mob here as the second turn for that slot. We'll hold it like that for the moment. You may as well get in there and start distributing your XP immediately. Pete's looking healthy-ish. King Senna's army is pretty shredded. And King Senna himself is very vulnerable to a fast snipe, which is worth noting. Len, is there anything of value for you to do? I mean, you certainly can't help with this.
Serve for eternity.
But yeah, if we can run through Kingston Center, then we can at least have Pete sort of head up in this direction and maybe just get away. Maybe that's all we're really looking for at this point. But how'd you try to assassinate this skink priest? Yeah, you know what? Go see if you can do it. It's roughly a coin flip, which is to say, probably not. Len is terrible at those. Yep. What a shock. All right, an additional 7% success chance. Hopefully that'll be enough to get something done.
Boy.
Maybe I want to just wait another turn, though, right? Like, we sure do need to regen. But this just got burned down. Cincena will run if we don't get him now. Yeah, let's go for him.
Strike now.
This army is definitely a lot more competent at fighting melee.
Nagash.
And he just fled. What a fucking coward.
I smell blood and gold against the code.
All right, we're just going to encamp and chase. We're moving away from all of our other enemy armies, so I think this should be a pretty safe thing to do.
Time to move.
All right, it's here. It's intact. It's got a lot of tier 5 stuff in it. Although, it looks like not that much money-making potential. Well, you got the Keelhauls, you got the Dark Elf Port, you got the city itself. I mean, it's not amazing. Yeah, that's a bummer. It is actually really disappointing how not amazing that is. All right, it's 2 more turns on this. I'm feeling okay about it. Then we can throw Aranessa back in charge. Now again, if only we could get the Khemri and Hexoatl to go to war. I really don't have a good way of making that happen, and unfortunately, they probably have a bunch of positive relationship with each other from all of the mutual fighting of me. Does seem like Hexoatl's kind of pulling out of our continent, though, huh? Maybe this is a window to do something about it. And if we can take back the settlement they stole from us and stuff, I'm wondering if we can get them into a position where they would accept a truce. If they feel they've lost offensive momentum. I have no idea if the AI is capable of having thoughts like that. Also, I'm not giving Lottie Coughlin orders, and she's not asking for them. That's no good. I gotta remember to manually select her. It really should be asking us on her behalf. It's very weird that it's not. But she'll just have to play catch up a little bit. I wonder, those Savage Orcs are going to go to war with somebody eventually. Yeah, this faction doesn't know what to do with themselves if they start winning a battle. Or winning a war, rather. Okay, so the Khemri are kicking up those annoying sandstorms throughout their territory.
More land.
Their version of Alhaik is very badly defended, right? Should I just take it? Or maybe I should fall back, try to crush Sorcerer's Islands. Ugh, the Wizard Cleave's palace is being attacked by a pretty annoying army. Yeah, I guess let's turn back.
The sea knows my fate.
We can stop just short of entering their territory. Try to minimize the amount of time we're in that sandstorm.
By hook or sword, they'll fall.
So that's 8,000.
On land.
It's a pretty serious amount of money for what doesn't seem like it's going to be all that much cash, honestly. Maybe it's not even worth setting up the, well, by the time we got anywhere else to set up a Pirate Cove, the cooldown from setting it up here would almost have evaporated. So maybe we are, in fact, just going to hang out on this. Nobody around here is actually, like, doing any replenishment for me to hinder. I have nothing to assassinate. Yeah, because nobody's using characters. There's not really much to do for poor Len Amstrel. And we are going to go manually select
10 on deck.
Lottie, who the game decided it could just go to sleep and it would be fine.
En route.
It's not really how I wanted to do things.
Landfolk are weak.
Alright, she's out for one more turn. So let's go ahead and play that turn so we can toss her back in control, sail down here. I really want to get rid of this faction. Like, it would help if we could just be focused on a smaller number of things. We have too many enemies hitting us from too many sides, and that's true even after dealing with Carrick Hearn. Sadly, I just don't know what to do about it. Like, I don't know if there's anything we can. Lots of armies running around in Dark Elf Town with apparently just absolutely nothing to do. I feel like I've been scrabbling desperately for my life for the entire game. And it is a bummer. Once again, just before reinforcements were about to show up. In this case, it was probably like 2 turns. Yeah. There's just we cannot catch a break here. And there are so many other players who just have nothing to do. They have all these armies and they can afford to just walk them back and forth between their settlements every turn. Well, the Wizard Caliph's palace being gone, I guess the only thing to do is to turn Pete around and head north, try to maybe get Alhaik, but more than anything else, just get to Aranessa. We really have to be just a little bit protective of him for the next few levels. Alright, lots of stuff happening up in Wood Elf Town that just does not matter at all. Pirates are sailing around listlessly with nothing to do except to die and feed me resources.
Vampire of the waves.
I trust them.
Alright, I am replacing you with... Nope, we're doing this thing again, huh? Alright, well...
Where to?
Aranessa sword spite.
Deckhands, forward!
We'll do this the old-fashioned way. I don't know why I'm not allowed to pick her from the list. Which is how this is supposed to go.
Loyal to a fault.
Sorry, I don't want to replace you. I just want to disband you now.
Sword
spite is
All right,
here.
sadly, Aranessa comes in with no movement, so we're not going to be able to ride out this turn, but maybe we're just giving up on the south entirely anyway, huh? All right, Aranessa sure is a scarred veteran. So... okay, Aranessa can, from her own pool, get some mortars. So actually, I think we're going to end up firing a couple units here. Yeah, I definitely like... The mortars are so hard to take good advantage of because of their very, very low accuracy. But I mean, the way you're supposed to solve that is with gunnery wights and magic.
All above board.
Alright, so are we just turning around? Yeah, I think we're just turning around.
I forbid this.
The good news is... Hinder replenishment. Alright, part of that was just so that we could get a more accurate read on their army, and then it didn't even do that, which is wild.
Blood and plunder. We are aligned.
Because we could go take Lashiek, right? Would I survive taking Lashiek is an important question. Maybe it's not even worth it to risk it. Maybe we just run
Undead
up the
raiders.
inside of the canal. Or we can fight the raiders over stuff when we are together with Aranessa.
March, you dead curs!
Yeah, I think that's going to be the move here. And Vulture Mountain still needs 1,000 turns to get any defenses in place, which is to say it's not going to happen.
Crew, salute your betters. I'll lash the stragglers.
You know, she moves fast. You got to give her that.
Washbuckler.
So obviously we can't do much with Wendy right now, and Wendy is just going to stand here and wait. Len had his shot already. Kind of blew it. All right. So in theory, we can sort of pincer attack the Reich Admiral's forces. Hopefully we can actually be rid of them soon. There's one more huge problem that we can... man. Yeah, and he's gonna double army us. So we can go back and try to do the ambush thing, but if we go for it and it doesn't work, he probably gets to kill Pete's army and gets to take Vulture Mountain. And as much as I want to sort of like establish Vulture Mountain as the core of our resistance in this mountain range, I just don't know if it's worth the risk. We don't have to protect Pete forever, but we do need to protect him like just a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll probably just disengage. Just let him have it. Gosh, there sure are a lot of enemy units. So paradoxically, perhaps, as the number of enemy forces goes down, the amount of time you spend in the enemy turn cycle tends to go up fairly sharply. It's because the AI takes way longer to command 3 armies belonging to the same player than it does to command 3 different players who each have 1 army. I don't know why that is. I can't believe the High Elves are allowing people to just kind of like sail into the center of their territory like that. All right, Pete Wakefield is gaining important traits here. But yeah, we're probably just going to keep running north. However, now that we have Aranessa in control of her own army and ready to do things again, I think that would be a compelling place to pick up next time. We have an awful lot of revenge, and she is very ready to serve it. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. This is rough, again, mostly in terms of actual expansion. Keep in mind, we're already at 11.5k infamy. We're doing really well on the infamy gathering, actually. When you come back next time, we shall continue to gain, but also maybe we'll actually win a couple of battles. And we'll see you then.